Cool, and we are live. Hi, Sovik. How are you?
Hello, Alicia. Quite
Good
fine. And you?
afternoon. Good, thank you. We're finally in the same time zone, so it's 3
Yes,
p.m. for both of us.
yes. Feel welcome here.
Thank you. um, cool. So let's get started. Today, you are going to show us. Actually, this was asked by a customer, by James Manfield, if I can remember correctly, a few weeks ago. And you are a big fan of and a big user of ContextCapture Editor and LumenRT. So we decided to bring this into a live chat. So tell us a
Yes.
bit more about what you're going to show and
Okay.
yeah.
So, yes, as you mentioned, I'm a big fan. So we're gonna start from our context capture editor to show first of all how our interoperability works. And this is
Mhm.
also that you don't have many worries in case of how many data and how different kind of data you can put inside. So we can
Mhm.
put our reality mesh here. You can put point clouds, rasters, also different CAD files. But also, if you need, for example, to download some freeware 3D model like this Eiffel Tower model, this is
Mhm.
I just found it as a open source file to use.
Mhm.
Then you don't have to worry about it because all OBJ or STL objects are also possible to be uploaded here. So
Okay.
I just thought, okay, let's make our colleagues in US some slide where they will be able to go to work directly.
So,
Okay.
Sovik, let me introduce the project for those who are not familiar with that data set.
Okay.
So, the 3D mesh you're using comes from a drone data set that was captured
Exactly.
from our headquarters in Pennsylvania, in
Pennsylvania.
Exon. So you can see there the Bentley sign on the 3D mesh,
Yes, our
and
CEO is waving here from the window. So
yeah, we hope. And so we use this data set for our, like we did a webinar a week or 2 weeks ago, and we
exactly.
covered how to process the drone data set in ContextCapture, and then how to do quite a few applications in ContextCapture Editor. So ContextCapture
Exactly.
Editor comes with ContextCapture, so that will be the editing software that comes with
Yeah,
ContextCapture, which is the one to generate the 3D meshes.
exactly.
Okay,
And
so
this is
now you
making
go.
this big difference here. So
Mm-hmm,
many photogrammetry solutions right now, they of course
mm-hmm,
creating meshes, but actually this is where they end. We are providing
mm-hmm.
also kind of tool to go step forward and create something out of this mesh.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, we used it to last webinar, and the project here was to put some office, but I just
Mm-hmm.
found that Eiffel Tower will be much more fun.
As
So
a matter of fact, yes.
yes. Actually, just a fun fact: Eiffel Tower is 300-meter tall, and I had to. This is only around 60% of the original size here. So you can
Mm-hmm,
only imagine how big it is in real life. Okay, so I decided I will just create a helix here. I use, of course, a helix tool. Then I use a B-spline curve. So, I was able to just produce almost seamless curve going from just above, going through our structure, then hitting some let's say particular points. I modeled some columns here to just still stay realistic. This is a realistic
So,
model.
so sorry. Take one step back for someone that is very ignorant in terms of editing ContextCapture
First.
editor. So you took the 3D mesh from ContextCapture, so that's the one from the campus, from the headquarters,
That's it.
and then what you did was importing the Eiffel Tower that you got
Yes,
as an
I
open
found it
source.
somewhere in the internet. Yeah,
Okay, and you imported that as an OBJ, or
as a
no?
STL in this case, but there is no
Okay,
difference. We can do
okay,
both. We have a
perfect.
lot of different files that we can import. Like just
Mm-hmm,
take a look of the some 3D modeling files. SketchUp, for example, here this is also pretty common. Exchange file types and the common
mm-hmm,
file from like there's a huge variety here. So I'm
Okay.
never worried about am I able to open
The
something. For
format
example,
file. Yeah.
IFC can be opened here. This is important for our Beam
Okay.
users. IFC can be imported also in the MicroStation or in
Okay.
the CC editor. Yeah.
Okay, and then how did you create the slides, which I think is a fantastic idea. I think actually I think there's an office, a Lego office in Netherlands or
Mm.
Denmark. I can't remember. I might be wrong, but I think there is an office that they have a slide that they can use
We
to
also
move
should have
around the
some.
office. I think this
Yes,
is a fantastic idea. So
it
how did you
is.
create that slide?
So basically, it's creating a path here. I use, as I mentioned, I use a Helix tool to create the
Mm-hmm.
spiral, going
Yeah.
pretty straightforward around the tower. Then I use
Mm-hmm.
a B-spline curve going around. Of course, take some effort to just try to hit some holes. Of course, it took me around 2 hours to create everything here, so this is not much time. And then I use our tool extrusion along, which is using our profile or circular shape to create a
Mm-hmm.
tube. So you can create it as a tube. It will have 2 centimeters of thickness of the walls. This is what I specified here. Of course, what I did also, I just specified in directly here that this will be a glass material. So you can assign material already here. It will
Mm-hmm.
show up at some point, at some let's say level of display. Let me also show you. I put here also one of the some different model,
Yeah.
kind of a
A
hole.
more realistic model, I'd say.
Yes, exactly. This is one is much more realistic. Uh, it comes from 3D modeling of the point cloud also from
Mm-hmm.
my past, and that you show it has all of the structures inside. Hopefully, they will be visible. Of course, let us be clear that here we are mostly working on orthographic view, so you don't have a perspective here. This is needed
Okay.
to do something really accurately. But in case of
Mm-hmm.
reviewing, this is not maybe the best solution. Also, this is not the best solution if you would like to visualize a model. So in the past,
Visualize your model. Hmm.
exactly. So in the past, in the V8i version of MicroStation, we had a model of the rendering which has been built in. Of course, we still can do something here, but this is not the let's say recommended option right now. We just find out a new solution for whole
Okay.
visualization of our aspects and projects.
Okay.
So how to do it is just to go to visualization tab, and you're going to find here LumenRT tool, which is included in its design version. And
Mm-hmm.
what design mean, I'm going to just explain in a second. You just have to click this one, and then you will find out that
Oops.
yes, I just
Go
will
back.
change my
Just go. Oh,
application. Yes, I just have to change to Lumen RT.
okay. So once you click LumenRT, then it will take you to the external application, will it?
Exactly. And now I have
Okay.
to just be able to click it. Just a second.
Just bear with us for a couple of seconds, and we'll
Yes,
stream Sobek's
exactly.
screen back.
Actually, I'm gonna click this one here. I will start it once again, just to be sure it will open as is. Yeah. Or if not, I'm gonna just share my entire screen if we're gonna have any issues.
Whatever is easier for you. So
Okay. Yes.
I
Right.
Yeah, there we go. So
Yes.
basically, you've imported the 3D mesh onto a ContextCapture editor, which James was sent a comment that you also need ContextCapture editor to upload meshes to ContextShare. So ContextShare is a different module that allows you to share your 3D meshes. So that's also a good point. So basically you've uploaded your 3D mesh, you've added any elements that you need for that project, like buildings, Eiffel Towers, even creating like a slide or different elements
Whatever
within
you need.
ContextCapture Edit. Exactly, that you can assign materials and so forth. And then you go into the visualization tab, and then you have like a button that says
One
LumenRT.
button.
You click on that, and then you go into the LumenRT application, which
It's right
is the
here.
one that you are
Yeah.
seeing on the screen.
The
Okay, so what
biggest
happens
advantage
next?
is the biggest advantage is that whole model automatically gonna be moved here.
Okay.
And also, what is important, we are using it here a 3SM format, so not 3MX but 3SM. It's one
Tell
of
me a
our
bit
native
more
formats.
about tell me a bit more about that. Is Bentley native,
Yes.
and what is the advantage
The
of that?
difference is that let's say that in case of working with the file, 3MX is more optimized. It's a little bit faster. 3SM then
Okay.
is one single file. So you don't have this. In case of 3MX, you're gonna get a folder with the library files, with the textures, and then kind of shortcut to to those libraries. And here you are
Okay.
getting everything in one file. So also, if you need to send something to a customer, you can consider using 3SM just to send one file to just be
Okay.
clear that even beginner customer will know how to open it because this is one single file.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
this one is also input file to the Orbit, to not Orbit, to LumenRT, sorry. Of course, it could be, it will be soon.
For
It is
Orbit.
already.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll do
but this is different
another live
topic.
on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, as you see, totally different display. Like Orbit, no, sorry, Lumen is totally focused on visualization. So we're gonna get shadows, we're gonna get some backgrounds, sun position that you can specify. Also, we're gonna get a possibility to just sculpture the terrain freely, just like you will need. So if you will need to create a mountain right here, you're just creating a mountain. Let me just specify the bigger size, and you can just sculpt it like
Okay.
in maybe you remember there was a game, The Sims. So this is easy
Yeah.
like this one. So
That's
you can
very
place
cool.
themes here. You of course can flatten it. You have multiple options here. You can just paint it on a different color, a different kind of, let's say, surface area, sand or stone, whatever you will need.
So basically, well, other than cool, I think that what you can do, it enables you to create the scene as realistic as possible
Yes.
to the actual projects. Yeah,
Yes. For
project
example,
environment.
also you can float everything in the water. That could be
Mm-hmm.
also interesting for our offshore friends who are working
Mm-hmm.
in the platforms. On the platforms, they would like, oh, let's. In fact, it looks nice. It looks like our Bentley Island right now. We're gonna stay like that.
Yeah.
And okay, so we have this water. This water will be animated if you're gonna get closer. You see, it's just moving already. It's looking for
Yeah.
quite realistic and quite nice. Then here, if we have any objects, you can also attach a material on those. So if I'm gonna click this tower and I will choose different material here, I can decide that, okay, I would like to have it made of wood, for example. Wood
Mm-hmm.
Eiffel Tower sounds really good. It will be ecological. Now we have Eco Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's nice. And we still have this slide. And when I attached a material in directly in ContextCapture editor, it will be attached already here. So you don't have to bother about it.
Okay.
Okay. Then what to do next with such thing? Different options. We can create a photo, and then you can create different options how to render this. If you need something small for Instagram, for example, then you don't have to go for a really huge resolution. You can define quality. Of course, it's how much. Only depends how much time do you have on rendering this picture.
Mm-hmm.
You can
And
go,
is it gonna take? Sorry, is it gonna take the picture from the view that you are
from
at the
this view.
moment, or okay?
Exactly.
Hmm.
So you can specify as big as it's possible, and then it will tile it and load
Hmm.
as many details as possible. So normal
Okay.
rendering, like it work. But
Yeah.
actually, you can also start video creation animation, and then you are
Hmm.
working on something called a keyframes. So we are just setting a view and adding a keyframe, and then changing a view like this and adding another keyframe. So then they are appear here on the timeline, and just by simply adding those, what you want to show, of course, in some steps, you can just specify how many steps do you want to get better control on how the camera should fly
Hmm.
through those points. It will
Yep.
create some kind of path. So how this working? Pretty simple. Like you see, you have a marker then. As you see, it's moving. You can stop it. You can
Hmm.
just can
Yep.
control, go backward, forward, just whatever you need. Okay, you see it here. Just moving here, moving along the slide. Actually, you can try to create a perfectly aligned line with the slide here.
Hmm.
And then we are moving back to the whole scene to see everything together. And
Hmm.
then we are ending at some result.
So you're basically defining some key points. How did you call them? Say
They
what
are
is this?
called keyframes,
Keyframes.
mostly
Yeah.
in many animation softwares. They will have the same name.
Okay.
So this is a keyframe that will be that you want to to have in your video, in your
Yeah,
animation.
yeah, yeah. And then it automatically generates that
This path around.
the path around the keyframes.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. This was already working in point tools in the
Mm-hmm.
past. So the same tool, and it worked in many already solutions creating animation. So this is like our one of our solution here.
Okay.
The advantage is that you can totally, you know, you can combine a lot of different kind of data here. So everything,
Mm-hmm.
basically everything that will have a surface can be visualized here. Can have its visualization here. So
Okay.
with the point clouds, it's better to use point tools then. It's just animating point clouds here. But in case of any lines, they won't appear. They will appear if you will change them for kind of some solid, for example.
Okay, so it's
Mhm.
more of a like a mesh surface visualization rather than
For
point
example,
tools and lines. So for point tools is the another Bentley platform for point cloud visualization and analysis.
exactly.
So that's the one we are referring to. So you will be using that for animating or visualizing the point cloud. Um, okay, so what about if you need to update the project that you are working at the moment? Maybe you get, I don't know, like another building that you forgot or
Mhm.
that you need to add in your project. Do you need to go back to Context Capture Editor and update it and then do the same
Yes.
thing again?
Basically, if you're gonna save it here, it will
Mm-hmm.
just save the options for the display.
Okay.
But the model is untouched. If you're gonna go back, add something, and go back here, the new object should appear
Oh,
on your visualization. Also, if you
okay.
need to add something which is like more for visualization populated, you have also options here to add some actors, some animals. So we can add some dog, for example. It's
Mm-hmm.
just downloading from the library. So let's
Mm-hmm.
take okay, and we're just adding a dog which that will have already some movement. As you see,
Okay.
it's even adding with some path together.
Mm-hmm.
So you see here, you can even manipulate the path, and the dog will just start to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. Then you can add some life to your. Okay, actually, it went down above the under the mesh. Then you have to keep in mind about everything you're gonna see is possible to be just seen on the production. The same with the cars.
Okay.
You have full library of some let's say normal cars, not normal cars like those super sport one. Some pickups, some special equipment. You can just visualize it how the site will look like. This is more sometimes to convince maybe people living in neighborhood that, okay, this is how it's gonna look, get familiar with, because if we're gonna spend here, for example, two years in ahead. So this is one of the possibilities here. You can create, let's say, a Christmas atmosphere before the Christmas with the
Yeah.
Coca-Cola truck. Of course, you also can get kind of road. It will work. Then you have to keep in mind that if you have any noise on the mesh, it tends to sometimes uh, kind of jump on it. So let me just
Say that
show
again.
it.
How
You
is
see,
it?
the
Oh,
path
I
here,
see.
it will start to jump. So
Yeah,
it won't appear when you have just normal project with the road, because
yeah, yeah,
what we have to mention, this LumenRT is attached to all of our software. So in roads, open building design, they all are gonna get uh, LumenRT in design version
yeah.
attached, and it
Mhm.
will be free to use if you have a
Okay.
license for the only difference that you're gonna get is a difference in how big resolution you can create of the
Mhm.
movies, of the animations, and in case of design version, you're gonna get our LumenRT logo in the corner.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
won't be
That's
it
makes
won't be
sense.
flying in the middle like in one well-known software they also have, but then you have a flying big logo of their company here. It will just be in the corner, and
So,
that's
like,
the
I have
difference.
a question from James. He's asking, what did you use for export resolution?
In of this video here, or
Mhm. Yeah, I guess that he's referring to this video. Yeah.
if I would like to export it as a video, most of all, of course, it depends. If you want to, for example, post it on YouTube, then take
Mhm.
full HD, full HD, sorry, is good enough.
Okay.
Uh, that's one of the, let's say, default setting for YouTube, for example. If you want to post it on some bigger screen, then you can consider 4K. If you are going, for example, to some conference, hopefully we're gonna get some after the lockdowns and COVID situation. We will gonna meet together on some conference, and then you will have this whole big screen behind you. Then consider using 4K.
Mhm.
It will have a difference. Of course, you can specify the quality, how many details you can load in each frame. Also,
Mhm.
the frame rate. This one is maybe interesting for someone who is already working with the montage. That if you're gonna put more frames here, you actually can kind of manipulate the tempo of also afterwards. You can slow down
Mhm.
twice. If you're gonna get 60 frames per second, it will be really smooth. You're gonna see that already we are using in our cameras and in smartphones. We have options to use to video something in 60
Yeah.
frames per second. So you see how big difference it is. You can also
Mhm.
specify it here. Then at last we have option to export it as a 180 degrees and 360 panorama for VR. So you can create kind of
Mhm.
walkthrough on your project, and you will be able to your customers, your clients, or someone visiting your museum, for example, will be able to just rotate around.
Yeah, so that's I think that's a very interesting aspect of it. So will you be able to show the final? Can you have a preview of the
Exactly.
final
Yeah.
animation? Yeah,
Of course, I
that would
have
be
it.
cool. Oh,
Let me just share new thing.
um,
Application.
and sorry, I wanted to mention more about that virtual reality application, but let's see the final video and then we can talk about
Exactly.
that because we will be showing cool stuff in I think in May we will be talking about the iTwin platform that
Mm,
actually James you were requesting also recently.
yeah.
So
Let me just
we
play
will
it.
be there you go. Yeah,
So
I think we should be
yeah, it should be already shown
yeah.
on the screen, and as you see, because you're rendering frames frame by frame, you won't get any kind of stuck kind of loading time. Everything gonna be just sharp as is, because every
Mm-hmm.
frame is just loaded during the rendering process.
Yeah.
How much time it took me to do this? I think it was approximately 2 hours to render this animation. Of course, you can make it much more detailed. This will all depend on
Mm.
the quality and how much data. Maybe not how much data. Yes, it will depend, because then it will have to load much more data on site.
Yeah,
So
I guess it also depends on the application, right? Like if you need, like if you're an architect, maybe you need like a much more realistic, if you're working on a construction site. But if this is just for communicating your 3D mesh to your customers, you might just wanna, keep the editing time at
exactly,
minimum and just give them a good looking
yeah,
animation, but like it doesn't matter that much
exactly.
that is as realistic as possible. Yeah.
Especially that our
Interesting.
reality meshes, they have already some kind of wow factor in them, so you don't have
Yeah.
to spend much time. And this is like really cool that you can actually load them in visualization software and get kind of
Yeah.
a high. You can just change the lights, change the
Yeah.
daytime. So yeah,
But actually that's a really good point because like when you animated that track, the Coca-Cola track, you were saying like if there is any bumps on the 3D mesh, you will see them on the animation. So obviously the better and the higher quality your 3D mesh, potentially the better your animation.
yeah,
So is like obviously, if you work with a software like ContextCapture, which delivers a very good final 3D mesh, a very accurate 3D mesh, and very realistic, then obviously the animation will be much
yeah.
smoother and much better.
And
Yeah.
the retouch tool. So also we have a retouch tool in case you're gonna get some bumps, and that you want to put this Coca-Cola truck there. You can just fix them on the
It
on our retouch tool.
remind me about that retouch tool is the one that allows you to flatten down the
Exactly,
surface. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
So
really
this
interesting.
one is really also useful. And yeah, you know this solution is really working. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have so much flexibility here. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, in kind of processing the data, the reality data on the
Yeah.
photogrammetry, then you have tons of possibilities in context capture editor, because this is fully working CAD software. So
Mm-hmm.
we can model everything inside. You can not only model, but you can merge together totally different data. You have your architects, you have your surveyors in company, BIM engineers. You can put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
For example, someone even take the 3D scan. You don't have that. Maybe if you cannot animate a cloud, then you can put it to the capture, create 3D mesh out of the point cloud in context capture, and actually
Mm-hmm.
animate it anyway here. So there
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's the biggest advantage of Bentley, that you always have some workaround. If something is even not straightforward, you always will find a way to just fix this solution only with use of MicroStation or context capture
Yeah.
editor.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that we hear from the field, from our customers, that project delivery and like engagement from stakeholders and the customers, like it is becoming a big thing, not only to add value as a drone
Mhm.
operator or as a surveyor, constantly having to add value to their deliverables, but also from, I think, the end customers are already starting to ask for this. So
Mm.
I think it is way easier than what I expected. I have to be honest, I've never
Yeah.
worked with LumenRT before, so I didn't know what to expect, but it looks like very user
Mhm.
friendly. So you have
Yeah.
your 3D mesh, you just need to import it in ContextCapture editor, which is seamless. Then you add there any additional, buildings or artifacts that you want to add into your 3D mesh, and then you go into LumenRT, and then you create the animation, which seems very easy and very
It's really
straightforward.
easy. Yeah. It took me like
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 minutes to learn, Maybe I
Hmm.
had some previous experience in different softwares, so I knew that okay, it will be probably focused on keyframes, but
Yeah.
this is still so easy to use. Even if someone, for example, is playing video games, he can just steer here by using WSHD.
Hmm.
Sorry, that's not this one I wanted to share. That was in LumenRT. You are able to use uh, just a keyboard together with the. So let me just show you. Just for the end, if you're gonna fly around, you can use just keyboard and just move like in old video games. So if you had
Mm.
any kind of contact with such, you're not gonna be loose here. You're just gonna know how to work. It's a really natural feeling here,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
and it's much
that's good
easier.
to know. Mm.
Yeah, let me just fly under this one. Oh, yeah, we can land here. Yeah. Also, you
That's
see the glass is working nice. Refraction works. This sunlight is gonna be refracted because it has a glass refraction inside. It's a lot of totally different possibilities here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. James is saying that you can also use a USB joypad. Hmm, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
exactly. That will even
That's really
make it more easier to
yeah, yeah, yeah. For
work.
people familiar,
Yeah,
for users familiar with such. Um, cool. So we're running out of time, but I wanted to mention so the next step, or actually a parallel workflow, and I think is everywhere on LinkedIn lately, is the virtual reality, and how to have like the next step for me will be like, okay, I wanna get immersed into this 3D mesh, because that would be for inspection purposes, or for nowadays with the pandemic that we can't be on site and we can't travel. That would be like an amazing way to bring your customers and your stakeholders onto the site.
exactly.
So we will be talking about the iTwin services and some virtual reality third-party applications in the next couple of months. So stay tuned, because we will get there. James requested this last week, so we if there is any other topics or any other applications that you guys want us to show here, or any specific features or workflows, just drop us a comment. I go through all the comments that you leave, so feel free to share that with us,
Exactly.
and stay tuned for more LinkedIn Live. And anything else, Sovik, that you want to say?
It's just fun to use it.
You
Yes.
really like this tool.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Yes, that's true.
That's very good
Yes.
to see. Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Stay safe, and see you very soon.
Okay.
Thank you, Sovik.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye.